Good afternoon, students. Welcome to the maths class. In this class, you will learn about the chapter squares and square roots. In our previous class, we have learned about square numbers and some particular methods to find the squares of the given numbers. Today in this class, I will discuss about square roots. What do you mean by square root of a number? Now, all we know about the square figures. In a square, all sides are equal. And area of the square is side into side, or we can say side square. Now suppose the area of a square is given 144 centimeters square. Can you tell what is the length of the side of a square? Suppose the length of the side is x centimeter. Then the area becomes x square centimeter square. That means x square is equals to 144. So to find the length of the side, we have to find a number whose square is 144. That means we have to find a number whose square is known. So finding the number whose square is known as finding the square roots of the square numbers. Now let's see the definitions of a square root of a number. Square root of a number x is that number which when multiplied by itself gives x as the product. We denote square root of a number x by under root x, which is read as square root of x or root x. If y is the square root of x, then y is equals to under root x, y multiplied by y is equals to x, or we can say y square is equals to x. That means square root of x is equals to y. If you multiply y by y, then you get the product as x, and that means square of y is equals to x and square root of x is equals to y. So both are related with each other. For example, if I write square root of 16, that means if I write 4, it means that when 4 is multiplied by 4, we get the product as 16, and square root of 16 is 4. Similarly, square root of 25 is 5. So when 5 is multiplied by 5, we get the product as 25. So finding the square root is the inverse operations of squaring. So both are related with each other. Now let's see some more examples to understand the square root of a number. Let us consider an example. Suppose if we find minus 2 whole square. That means minus 2 is multiplied by minus 2 and it gives 4. Similarly, plus 2 whole square means we multiply 2 by 2, we get 4. So that means square root of 4 is minus 2 and square root of 4 is plus 2. From this equations we can write as minus 2 square is 4. So square root of 4 is minus 2 and square root of 4 is plus 2. So 4 has 2 square roots. One is plus 2, another is minus 2. Similarly, if we consider 9, any other perfect square number, suppose 9, 16, then it has 2 square roots. 9 has 2 square roots plus 3 minus 3. So perfect square number has 2 square roots. So in this way we can also say that every positive number x has 2 square roots. One of them is positive, that is plus root x, another is negative, that is minus root x. Together these are denoted as plus minus root x. So square root of 0 is 0, and the square root of negative number, suppose negative number do not have real square root. Suppose if we take square root of minus 16, can you imagine any number whose square is minus 16? No. There is no real number is there whose square is negative number. So square root of minus 16 will give imaginary number. So negative number do not have real square root. And the positive number square root is known as principal square root. Here the positive number square root means this one, plus root x. This is also known as, that means only simply root x. This root x is also known as principal square root. This is known as the positive square root or principal square root. So if there is nothing is mentioned, we will consider the square root of a number as positive square root. That will be denoted by, positive square root will be denoted by the symbol this. Let's see some more example to understand the square root. Let us solve an equation x square is equals to 4. So when we solve an equation x square is equals to 4, that means we are trying to find the all possible values of x that might have been squared to get 4. So in this case we write x is equals to under root 4. That means x is equals to, we will write here plus 2 and minus 2 both. The value of x depends on the condition of the variables. So in this case we will write both the solution. Now for example, the area of a square is given 25 centimeter square. Let the side of the square be x centimeter. That means x square is equals to 25. So x square is equals to 25. So in that case we write x is equals to root 25 and we will write the solution only 5. In this case we will only select the solution 5 because we will not consider the negative value, because the length of the side cannot be negative. But in case of when we are finding the square root of the positive number, suppose square root of any positive number when we are finding, that time we will only take up the positive value, positive square root. For example, square root of 144, we simply write 12. We will not write minus 12. For example, square root of 169, we write only the number 13. We will not consider the negative value. If nothing is mentioned, then we will write the square root of a number as the positive square root only. So in this chapter, we will consider the square root of the number as the positive square root number only. Now look at the table here. Number 1 to 5 is shown. Square of the number is shown. 1 square is 1, 2 square 4, 3 square 9, 5 square 25. And perfect square here 1, 4, 9, 16, 30, 25. These are perfect square. And square root of perfect square is shown here. Square root of 1 is 1. Square root of 4 is 2. Square root of 3 is 9. Why it is 9? Because 3 square is equals to 9. Square root of 9 is 3. So 3 square is equals to 9. So that means when 3 is multiplied by 3, we get the product as 9. Square root of 16 is equal to 4, which means that when 4 is multiplied by 4, we get the product as 16. Also in between these two perfect square numbers 1 and 4, there are other two numbers is also there, 2, 3 and many other numbers also lying between 1 and 4. So the square root of 2 is given as approximately 1.414. So in between 1 and 4, whatever number is there, that is 2, 3, these are called the non-perfect square numbers. Okay, because in the square root of that number we will not get a natural number. So square root of 2 is approximately given as 1.414, square root of 3 is given as 1.732 and so on. So sometimes we will not directly get the square root of the numbers, because these are the very simple numbers. We all know the squares of this number, so that's why we can easily write the square root. But when the number is bigger number, that time we will not get directly the square root of that number. So there are various methods for by which we get the square root of the, by which we can determine the square root of the numbers. Especially in this chapter we will learn about the repeated subtraction method, prime factorization method, then long division methods are also there. So these methods we will learn to find the square roots of the given numbers. So that we will discuss in our next class.